Well, hello plant lovers, it is Matthew in Melbourne welcoming you to my channel. Thanks for finding me in this crowded world of orchid YouTube videos. Here I try to grow, try being the operative word, cold, cool, intermediate orchids here in Melbourne, Australia, without the help of grow lights or a greenhouse or humidifiers. Really just me and them trying to figure out our way together, inside, outside, or not at all. So if they sound like your growing conditions, do hit subscribe. I post every week on a Friday, amateur ramblings, but you never know, they might help you in your orchid journey. So sit back, buckle up, and watch some things inevitably end up on the compost bin. But hopefully that won't be the fate of these plant lovers, because yes, I have been accidentally orchid shopping. And you can see there's a few flowering lovelies behind us because I was just filming those too, and then I thought, you know what, I'm just going to share what I came home with today. Today is a Sunday, and the very lovely Michael Coker, with whom I've made two videos, and I'll just put those slides in here. One was about deep flasking, one was about Phragmipediums. And so Michael had a private orchid sale today. Michael is an incredible orchid grower, and he's the president of the Orchid Society's Council of Victoria. I think that's the right title. He's a judge. He grows all manner of orchids in his several grow houses, I have to say. So some are at different temperatures. An amazing grower and an amazing person to know and to be able to glean knowledge from. And Michael's also a member of the Orchid Species Society of Victoria, which I belong to. Which just goes to show, plant lovers, you should join an orchid club. There will definitely be one near you. And if there isn't, a lot of them have Zoom meetings, so you can still dial in. So if you're unsure if there's anything nearby you, just Google orchid clubs near me, or your state or your country might have an overarching orchid group, and they should be able to tell you if there are local meetings, groups, clubs, associations, etc. So do try and find something, because you'll find amazing people and amazing opportunities to buy plants. The type of plants that you won't tend to find anywhere else. And that is exactly what happened to me today, plant lovers. I casually went along really to chat to Michael and ended up coming back with things which I didn't intend to do, but never mind, let's have a look. Right, so what did I feel I couldn't live without? Well, the first obvious thing is perhaps this, which is a Cymbidium. Now, yes, I need Cymbidiums like a hole in the head. I'm sure you all agree. But look at the habit of that. Very, very fine grassy leaves. And this is an interesting one. It's a cross between Cymbidium dayanum and Cymbidium erythraeum. There you go. Now, dayanum has quite sort of open spidery flower, the lovely sort of maroon stripe. And then erythraeum has those sort of lovely arching sprays of flowers with a very sort of upright spider-like, quite wide whiskery flower. Now, I can't show you images of these because I don't own the copyright to them. I can only show you images of things that I've taken. So I know it's a bit frustrating if you mention a plant and there's no flower, but you'll have to Google it. That's your homework, plant lovers. So the form of this is just this lovely arching stem with a beautiful sort of quite upright spider-like flower presenting in quite a lovely way. So I was just intrigued about the form of the plant, really the form of the flower spike actually. Relatively small plant too. So this is flowering size. You can see there's a new growth there. So we might well possibly even get flowers from this in spring. So there we go. My first cab off the rank was Cymbidium dayanum crossed with erythraeum. Really, I bought it for the habit of the flower. So hopefully it will beat us. Otherwise, we will have a complaint to lodge. But hopefully we'll be able to see that when it's in bloom. So my spiel is cold, cool, intermediate, no equipment, grow houses, etc. So sometimes I do find myself challenging that notion, and this one might well be that. This is called Leptotes pohlitinocoi. Oh, I can't pronounce that. You'll have to. The last name is the combination of two Brazilian orchid enthusiasts, so say it as you will. And the Leptotes is also a name shared by a butterfly species, and it means thin or delicate, as in the wings of the butterfly, or the flowers of the orchid. So this is a Brazilian orchid, and it's a warm grower, so it's going to have to be indoors for me. That's not, necessarily unto itself a terrible thing. Relatively small, so this would have been something that Michael deflasked, and we have our deflasking video, so you can see how he did it. It's probably couple of years old, and it's one of those orchids that has those very sort of singular, almost succulent-like long leaves and quite a pendant habit. But the flowers are stunning. Have a Google. Absolutely beautiful. They hang down in clusters in a sort of a pale mauve, so it's a really stunning thing. And once again, not something you come across that often. So this is why you need to join an orchid club near you. Find out when they have orchid sales, which they'll often do. They'll often have auctions or swaps or raffles, which I've won things at before. So join an orchid club. You'll get access to amazing plants. So this is really lovely. Now I kind of have sworn off seedlings, but clearly not. I will grow this indoors anyway, but with a lot of seedlings I would tend to grow them indoors just to sort of toughen them up a little bit, even if they are cool or cold growers, before I put them outside. Anyway, that I'm interested to see if I can get to keep it thriving and surviving. Next up, two epidendrums. Now we've got, so I'll just drop in footage of my epidendrum. Who knows which it is. It could well be a hybrid, but it's the classic one that you find here in Australia, the crucifix orchid. Radicans probably, a variety thereof, a hybrid thereof. Very easy to grow. So I'm dropping in the footage of mine now. Orange, covered in blooms. Bright, actually gets direct sun, tough as nuts, can be a little bit weedy here in some circumstances, but a really great orchid. Now, there are other epidendrums, and I bought these two. Now, the first one is Epidendrum spathatum, this one here, which is a South American plant, and this is a cool, cold grower, but it has the most incredible sprays, sort of a deep orange flower when it is in bloom. The most amazing looking thing. And of course, Michael's got this, well, it's not really a seedling, I guess. He would have deflasked it a while ago, but you can see quite vigorous roots. It's quite epidendrums often are quite vigorous, so they'll be quite a strong plant, and the flower spike is quite large. But I was just struck by the fact that A, it's a cold grower, and B, it has these huge, dramatic flowers when it does decide to flower. So this is an Ecuadorian species, and as I said, highish altitude, so it can grow quite cold. I will keep this inside this winter though. We're just about to head into winter just to keep it healthy, but I'll keep it downstairs at the foot of the stairs where it's a bit chilly at night, but it gets lots of bright sun. And then maybe in spring next year when the plant's bulked up a little bit, I'll then move it outside. But isn't that a stunner? Well, you can't see, and I can't show you a picture because I don't own any. Google it and you'll have a look at what the flower looks like, and it's stunning. Now the next one is a mystery. What we've got here, it says Epidendrum crinitum. Now I can't find any reference to it, so I'm not quite sure what I Googled when I was checking if I wanted this or not. Anyway, if anyone can shed any light on that, feel free. So I might have to just ask Michael quite what it is, but anyway, whatever it is, I'm sure it's going to be gorgeous. I'm going to grow it inside and grow it warm until we see quite what it does, but you can see quite different, quite vigorous leaf growth, healthy looking plant. So yeah, bit of a mystery on that one. Never mind, who doesn't love a mystery in their life? And then the last cab off the rank is this, which is a little Oncidium, and it's called Oncidium Sally Jones Monarch. There you go. And Michael had one in bloom, and it was this smallish plant covered in tiny, bright yellow flowers. And it reminded me of, which I've got right here, Oncidium sotoanum. So there is my Oncidium sotoanum. There you can see, beautiful thing. This is a species Oncidium, and a lovely subtle fragrance, not like a dialed down version of the Sherry Baby fragrances. Really lovely. And this is the species ancestor of a lot of the twinkle orchids. Now I saw this one, Sally Jones, in bloom at Michael's and assumed it was a twinkle and assumed it had sotoanum as one of its ancestors. It doesn't, not in the slightest. Well, it doesn't matter, but I just assumed it was. Anyway, it's a small, very twinkle-like Oncidium, but covered in really bright, beautiful yellow flowers. Have a Google. Oh, look, very vigorous roots there. So I, just decided I had to have this in my life. Again, the color is really strong. Not something you find that often in the orchid world. And that will grow outside all year for me, as a lot of my Oncidiums do. And Oncidium sotoanum loves life outside, getting our cool winter minimums. We don't freeze here, doesn't get frosty, but it can get quite chilly, but it loves it. It's late autumn now, and it's just coming into bloom. It flowers once a year, which is what it does this time of year. Often species do flower once a year, but often a hybrid will flower multiple times a year because they've been selected for that purpose. So we'll have to see what this one does. But anyway, it was the color more than anything that really hooked me into this one. There we are, plant lovers. A little accidental quick orchid chop up. Oops, I did do it again. But Michael is a rare and wonderful grower of plants, so not an opportunity to miss likely, I feel. Anyway, I hope all's well in your world. If you've been buying things, you know what they are, and that they're doing well for you. So if you want to know what I'm doing next week, you'll have to hit subscribe. I post every week on a Friday. Amateur ramblings, many things do end up on the compost heap. I hope these don't, but you never know. But there are some successes and it might help you in your journey. So do hit subscribe if you want to know what we're doing next week. And I very much look forward to seeing you then.